Now, these days, whether it be a marriage or a business partnership or even a friendship, 20 years is a long time. We live in a society where time has become compressed and loyalty and longevity are forgotten words. So to coin a famous advertising payoff line, this discussion is all about standing the test of time. The King James Group turns 20 this month, and the founders are two of the most respected individuals in local advertising. Alistair King is the Chief Creative Officer and James Barty is the Chief Executive Officer. And they are dressed according to their roles, I would suggest to you. So James Barty, when you started, and congratulations to both of you and a very warm welcome.
Jeremy.
When you started out 20 years ago, tell me that advertising then was a whole lot simpler.
Yes, it was. It was absolutely simple. And I think the complexity that is in advertising now, to draw a counterpoint, is often self-created, because I think that it's actually, at its heart, can still be broken down to more simple parts than what we make of it. But in those years, absolutely. Media was simpler. The technology wasn't necessarily in play, so that made it, I guess, a little bit simpler. But ultimately, we still focused on great ideas that brands needed to sell, and that's still true today.
What are those simple components of advertising that James talks to?
James is right. There was above the line and below the line advertising,
And
that
then
was
you went home.
And then you went home. And you tried to excel in those too. And then the digital era arrived, and then it became a little bit more messy, and then PR waded in and social media, and suddenly there was this incredible dynamic of all of these disciplines having to work together, having to work with one idea and having to explode that idea. So at its heart, we're still looking for that cracker gem of an idea that makes our clients look amazing. How we play it out is very, very different, and it's better in so many ways.
James Barty, 20 years on. I don't want to get into the story of how you started. To paraphrase very quickly, you were with a big agency, you were at a cocktail party, as the story goes, you hooked up, you formed a business.
Yes.
But more importantly, what was the most difficult part of a startup at that point? What was the big lesson that you guys learnt?
I think that, well, there were a few lessons. I don't think there was one that really stood out, but I think on the business side, what was really important is that we had clients we could do work on. So that was very important. We had to win some business, and luckily we did. We were awarded business, and that made things easier, because I think we always set out with the ambition that if we could just do good work on one or two brands, hopefully we'd attract enough interest from others. And essentially that was the journey. But the tough thing was always going to be you doing it on your own, you're opening up, you're closing, you're doing it all. And that's quite humbling in a way when you've come out of a big environment where there's layers of people who do it for you.
And there's personal skin in the game here.
There's absolutely personal skin in the game. You committing, I mean, our houses, and the rest were on the line. And so I think, there was a lot to lose in some senses, but there was absolutely everything to gain for us. So the toughness somehow translates into as resilience, I suppose. That's what and an excitement. You every day you come into work to kind of do your thing, and that's really quite motivating.
And in the beginning, Alistair, you're teetering all the time, I'm imagining, at the end of a precipice. So you got to produce great work in order to survive. That's a fairly good incentive, isn't it?
Yeah, but the scale was different, because we came from a big agency, so I was doing lots of TV, and then suddenly was bunting in a little press strip ad, and then it was like, we have to make the greatest bunting on earth, and my creative guys would tear their hair out. And it took many years before we had brands to make a TV ad, and many years, and I think we didn't anticipate that it would take at least 10 years to get some momentum and start really getting back into big brand advertising.
James Barty, advertising is a fascinating thing because you have no product. You only have ideas. You're only as good as the last idea that you have and executed upon. Surely it's the most ridiculous business in the world to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. No, insane. My two children won't come into this industry. I mean, effectively, there are two parts to it that really aren't the smartest. One is you're selling time, and usually not at a true value. And the other part, which is the flip side, is that you're not being able to value your contribution of your ideas to the growth of the business you're partnering. But it more than compensates in the fact you're in this business because you absolutely love and believe in what you're doing and contributing to a brand's health, brand success, a consumer picking it up off the shelf, or whatever the desired result is. But if we didn't come to work every day still feeling fired up about making something really crazy or exciting or kind of off the piece like kind of work, then we wouldn't do it.
So creatively, then how do you keep the fire burning?
Yeah, I mean, this industry, that's what it's given me, is the gift of just every day your imagination is tested, your brain is being pushed, you're having to dig deep and find ideas. And with that comes a lifestyle, which is you can't retreat into a cocoon. You have to be a citizen of the world.
So what happens when they don't come? What happens when you really are stuck for an idea and you've got the client saying we need the work?
They always come, and it's when you try to make them come that they don't come. So you have to trust the creative process. You have to trust the fact that your brain is now wired to just generate ideas, and it's often you just laying down 20 ideas and choosing the best one or the best 2 or 3, and with practice you get very good at that, I think, because it's like a muscle. Your brain just gets more and more wired.
And I'm assuming, James, as a result of that, there's got to be a huge amount of inherent trust between the founders of the business, because you are dependent on that process in order for the business to survive.
No, totally, and that's the symbiosis of a proper partnership, I think. And if I don't do the ideas, I can hopefully layer something into the idea occasionally, or I might weigh in with some directional thought. But actually, that is our product. Our product is our ideas.
Yeah.
I surround that product with the services and everything that it requires to feed it to be great. So my objective getting up in the morning is to make sure that our thinking sharp, our account management and service of the brand is absolutely on point, and that we have a grand result, and a result that people are going to go, wow, that moves me.
Let's talk about grand results. This interview is not long enough to reflect back on 20 years of work, but you can't not have come to this interview today knowing that you wouldn't get this question about what is some of the work that stands out for you iconically. And it doesn't have to be a great big awarded campaign. It's something that sticks in your head that you're really proud of.
I think that everything changed straight after our 10th birthday, and we did the Ellen Gray Beautiful ad with the little boy and the little girl in Buenos Aires.
It was rich, it was textured, it was crafted.
It was unlike anything that had been done, but I think that it created, call it like a decade of creative gumption, because it gave us the confidence to be so brave with our thinking, and it broke everything for us. And after that, there was no going back. We had to just keep looking for the grandest idea, the most epic, most ambitious expression that we could find. I mean, it changed the fortunes of our agency, and with that, our creative ethos was created from it.
The different sections, subsections, well, yes, no, maybe.
The original Santam piece we did with Sir Ben was quite remarkable.
This is the actor Ben Kingsley.
Sir Ben Kingsley, yes. To us, yeah. That was incredible, because it's like the kind of experience you just live for.
Beaches, the sunshine, the women.
標識になんかヒッポクロッシングって書いてあるじゃん。いやいやこれ作ったやつやろ。
Perhaps one of the proudest moments for me was the follow-up ad for Santam, which was one of a kind, which we shot in Slovenia, funny enough, and it's all about the things South Africa can be proud of. The reaction of the country to that surprised us, and it was amazing, because it was a patriotic response to an ad.
I've just realized about your industry. I'm hearing Buenos Aires, I'm hearing Slovenia.
We're in
Last
for the
week
travel.
we did an interview with someone who was talking about, when we shot this ad in Iceland.
Yes, all for cost reasons.
Yes, of course. It's ridiculous. I mean, I didn't want to talk about your travel budget. What stands out for you?
There's one in particular which goes right back to our first 10 years, which is really around the launch of 2020, which was an amazing, almost before its time,
I was to say, ahead of its first time a financial services concept.
Yeah. So, I think we did some really groundbreaking work at that time. And then some of the more recent work we're doing, I think, is just absolutely off the charts. But the full integration work, so the work we're doing on Sanlam around savings and Savings Month, I think we've developed an incredible property through some amazing work over the last 3 years. And I think it still continues to get richer. And then the piece we're probably most proud of right now, I think, is this WhatsApp drama that we did for Sanlam Funeral Policies, which is just taking a whole new
Kshana
medium.
Kwelanga.
Yeah, Kshana Kwelanga. And that has really sort of, I suppose, elevated both a medium and an idea, and how they're using each other to become just so much more. I mean, we believe it's a world first, and so we're getting the kind of global accolades for it as well, which is astonishing.
So gentlemen, congratulations on 20 years. We are recording this interview in Johannesburg today. You're both based in Cape Town, so I'm very happy to give you the key to the ENCA shower room, because you want to take a 2-minute shower.
Yes, we might. If we can have more than 2 minutes, that'd be great
too. Do you
too.
have a bath?
But I was just going to say, also, in conclusion, kind of the social aspect of advertising is very important as well. You've done some work in that respect, haven't you? Yes. Around water saving and that kind of thing.
It's a reality for us. It's a real wake-up call. I mean, I don't think we'll ever we'll ever abuse water to the extent that we have. I mean, I think we'll always have 2-minute showers for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, we have a conscience and we have a responsibility.
And advertising has got to have a social conscience.
Always will have to have, and we're part of the fabric.
All right, we've got fresh, fluffy towels for you outside.
Thanks very
Alistair
much,
King,
Jeremy.
James Barty, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Jeremy.
May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true.
And we're playing you out this week with some of King James's very best work. For more on our programme, you can go to our various social media platforms. And until next time, goodbye to you. And thank you for watching.
They even have a name for it. What?
Load shedding.
Load shedding. Load shedding.
Oh God, I could shed a little load.
I read your book. You read my book?
Water, egg, mushed egg, biscuit, all blended together for breakfast. We haven't stopped blending yet though. I'm looking forward to the rest of the day.